What's up, guys? Eric Rivera here, Fitness Phenom. I am doing my Q&A, question and answer for you guys. I got a bunch of good questions, most of them coming from my YouTube. I got some questions from my Instagram, and some of you guys DM'd me with questions as well. So I'm going to get to them at no particular order. Straight off the dome, I didn't write any notes. Obviously, I looked at all the questions that was sent my way, but we'll get straight into it, right? No particular order as well. I got my laptop here in front of me. So I'm going to open this up and get straight to it. All right, so let's see. First question from YouTube, Oscar Leahy asks, what part of New York are you from? You should do a collab in the future with Semi or Scott Bernhard. Good question. So, I was born in Brooklyn, raised in the South Bronx essentially my whole life. I'm currently living in Harlem. But New York is New York. Like, it's essentially easy to get to the different boroughs, except Staten Island. Staten Island is deep. But where there's the Bronx, the city, Manhattan, Brooklyn, Queens, etc. It's not particularly too difficult to get to any of those places. But yeah, so I'm currently living in Harlem, but hometown is the South Bronx. I would actually be open to doing a collaboration with Semi or Scott. Scott actually, I spoke to him, I want to say about a month ago or so. Just happened to see him at the park in Thomas Jefferson. So I gotta hit him up. He wanted to do a collab. He's been doing his thing. I've been doing my thing. But a collab would be nice. Semi as well. I haven't seen Semi since the bar brawls last year. In Wingate last summer. I think it was like September or so. The fall. But I'm open to do a collab with any of them. You might see that in the future, so keep tuning in, keep watching. Let's see what else we have. Alright, so let's open this up. Alright, so Not Your Messiah, YouTube. Hey, what's going on, Eric? I'm Nick. Hey, I'm trying to lose some weight and slim down, but also build muscle at the same time. Is it better to cut first, then bulk later? All I do is burpees right now for hella cardio. Any help would be dope. So, good question. I often get this question on my DMs, whether you should cut first, whether you should bulk first, etc. People have that mindset from bodybuilding. People hear a lot of bodybuilders talk and whatnot, where you gotta bulk first, then you cut, etc. For me specifically, I don't focus on bulking. I don't focus on cutting. My training does change depending on the season, meaning if I am training for competition, my training changes, my weight changes. But I train year round, right? So I don't specifically train to bulk or to cut. I train for performance, right? To be able to compete at the highest level I can possibly compete. And I try to stay ready year round. I'm always ready year round, but competition training specifically, especially for those people who compete, you want to peak at the right time. So you understand what I'm talking about in that sense. So I'll make sure I try to peak during my competitions. Your question specifically, is it better to cut first then bulk later? You want to, can you build muscle while burning fat, right? There's some studies that suggest you can do that. There's some studies that suggest it doesn't particularly work that way. In my opinion, from my experiences, you can build muscle while burning fat, right, while burning some adipose tissue, leaning out. It is doable through calisthenics, through weight training. Obviously, diet is very, very important. You probably heard the saying, abs are built in the kitchen. That's essentially true. What you put into your body makes a difference as well, right? If you're at a caloric surplus, meaning you're taking in more calories than what you're burning, you're going to gain weight, right? Bulk. If you're at a caloric deficit, meaning you're burning more calories than what you're taking in, you're going to lose weight. So that is very important to understand, very important to grasp. So if you're looking to gain weight, right, you want to be at a caloric surplus. If you're looking to lose weight, you want to be in a caloric deficit. Now, if you're working out, you're going to build muscle, right? If you're looking to add on weight. If you're working out and you're in a caloric deficit, you're going to lean out, right? So it depends on what your goals are. So if you, I don't know if you're looking to, I think you're looking to lose weight. You said all I do is burpees right now for hella cardio. Burpees, in my opinion, one of the best things you can do for cardio, right? It's a great fat burner as well. Helps burn a lot of calories in a low amount of time. So keep doing those burpees if you're looking to burn some body fat, lean out a little bit, lose some weight. But remember, you want to be in a caloric deficit. So if you're looking to lose weight, you want to be in that deficit. Yeah, keep working out. I hope you're not only doing burpees. I hope you're also either lifting or doing calisthenics, pull-ups, dips, push-ups, squats, etc. Because you also want to build muscles. And that's very important as well. Don't neglect any of those exercises. Good question. So, Mr. Warlock, what is the best way to cut weight and maintain muscle? I just essentially explained that. As long as you're lifting, adding some resistance training, whether that is lifting weights or lifting your own body weight, your body cannot differentiate between resistance training, whether that's the iron or the park. So that's one of the best ways to build muscle, is to tear those muscle fibers down, right, through exercise. And in regards to cutting weight, exactly what I just mentioned. You want to be in a caloric deficit. However, eating is important. Eating is very important for recovery, muscle growth, right? But you just want to be at that deficit. So if you want to lose weight, lean out a little bit, make sure you guys are on that deficit. Also, any advice, tips on helping with shin splints? Yes. So, most of you guys might know this. I used to be a boxer. Once a fighter, always a fighter. So I won't say I used to be a boxer. But I boxed, did the Golden Gloves a couple of times. Used to fight, trained MMA, Jiu-Jitsu, Muay Thai, all in New York City. And while I was boxing, I had a case of very bad shin splints, like severe shin splints. At the time, I didn't even know what shin splints were, right? And I just kept training. Initially, when I felt it, I just trained through it. And it got to the point where one day I woke up and it was just excruciating pain, right? Literally on your shins, right? It almost felt as if I had broken a bone. I thought I had fractured something. My left side was much worse than my right, but I had them on both sides. But my left side, I remember being significantly worse. So I went to the ER, saw the doctor. She told me I had shin splints. I'm like, what are shin splints? Basically, you want to rest and avoid any movements that would bother it, right? So, for me specifically, it was the jumping of rope during boxing, any type of plyometric exercises, meaning anything that involves high impact or any type of impact like jumping. So when you jump or skip rope, you're jumping. I used to jump on and off the ring. That used to bother me a little bit. Running, right? The impact with your feet. I had to stop running. That being said, I didn't completely stop everything. I kept boxing. I was shadow boxing a lot more than jumping rope. Didn't jump rope at all, actually, so that was fine. That was my substitute, if you will. And I actually did that, so I cut everything off that bothered it, avoided anything that irritated it, but I kept training with what I was able to do. And I did that literally for over 6 months. So it took a long time for that to heal. But again, I definitely irritated it initially. I should have listened to my body. However, I did not know what was going on. So I took time off. Time off is your best friend, right? You want to not get that inflamed. You want to let your body recover, let that specific area recover, and avoid all movements that irritate it, that bother it, that hurt it. And for me, that was plyometrics, jumping, etc. Right? So, Mr. Warlock, that is the answer to your question. Jordan Haynes, also from YouTube. Should you work into high exercises, thought time to stop joint pain, or is it fine just to get straight into what you think you can handle? I think you miswrote something there, but should you work into high exercises to stop joint pain? So if you're experiencing joint pain, again, these questions are relatable. If you're experiencing any type of joint pain, obviously it comes with the sport, right? If you're an athlete, whether you're a weekend warrior, you work out 3, 4, maybe 5 times a week. If you're a competitor, etc., especially if you're a competitor, injuries, pain is just a part of the game. Comes with the sport, right? Especially if you're working out at a very high level or competing at a very high level. Joint pain. If things are bothering you, you kind of want to... It depends on what the situation is, how bad the pain is, what is it specifically that's bothering you or that's hurting you. You want to avoid anything that might irritate it, that might make it worse. Rest might be good. So it all depends on what injury or what it is that's hurting you specifically. In this case, if you have joint pain, I'm not sure if there's anything particularly hurting you specifically, any exercises that may be bothering you. Some things might be worse than others. I would encourage you to keep moving, keep working out. You don't want to just not do anything. With the joints, tendons and ligaments, especially with tendons, it's hard to get blood flow into that area. So it's kind of hard to essentially heal, depending on what it is that you have. If you have tendonitis, etc. But nutrition is also important, right? I am no doctor, but what I like to take for joint pain, some of the specific things I take: turmeric. It's a very good anti-inflammatory. There's been many studies that have shown its benefits as an anti-inflammatory for joints and muscular inflammation. It helps reduce all of that. I recently started taking glucosamine conjoined with MSM. Not sure if that has any effect just yet, but obviously there's studies that prove that it's beneficial for joint pain. And I also take fish oil, which helps lubrication of the joints. And again, there has been studies as well to prove that it's beneficial for joint pain. So for me specifically, I take those supplements. I try to listen to my body. If one day my shoulders, for example, are really achy and I'm supposed to do a lot of pushes, like push-ups or dips, right? I may cut down the reps, modify the movement, modify the repetitions, or I might just switch it out completely. Maybe it'll be a lower body day, maybe it'll be a core day, etc. So you do want to listen to your body. You want to push yourself, but you want to be smart. Listen to your body. Do not overdo things. Your body will always give you signs, especially when it comes to things like this. So you want to take note of that, listen to that, and take care of yourself, right? In regards to supplementation, try those. Again, I'm no doctor, but that's what I personally take, so give it a go. All right, so let's see what we got. I have a question in Spanish. BV Thomas, Instagram. So it's in Spanish, so I'll read it in Spanish. ¿Cuáles son los mejores métodos de entrenamiento para resistencia que te parecen a ti? So what are the best methods of resistance training? Essentially is what he's asking. I'll answer it in English first, and then I will let you know in Spanish. So, resistance training. Your body cannot differentiate between the resistance you're introducing it to, whether that's body weight, calisthenics, or whether that's lifting. Lifting iron, lifting weights, etc. Resistance is resistance. That being said, I am assuming he is talking about lifting. So if you're asking about specific exercises, for resistance training, let's talk about the iron first. So, lifting weights. What are some of the best exercises? In my opinion, barbell movements, those compound movements are very crucial, very important to muscular development. You have your powerlifting movements. So you have your squats, so your back squats and your front squats. You have your bench press, or your presses in general. So you have your bench press, you have your shoulder press or military press, or strict press, depending on how you identify that. And you have your deadlifts, right? So you have your squats, your presses, and your deadlifts, different variations of those three. Conventional deadlift, sumo deadlift, etc. Those will give you the most bang for your buck, right? You're using different muscle groups, large muscle groups, strengthening your body, strengthening those muscles. Let's fix this a little bit.
Who indeed?
1 second, my computer's talking to me. Strengthening those muscle groups, and again, giving the most bang for your buck, right? Now, if we're talking about body weight, I would say pull-ups, dips, push-ups, and squats. And for my more advanced athletes as well, if you have muscle-ups, we'll throw muscle-ups into the mix, right? Those will give you the most bang for your buck. Those are essentially the sport of calisthenics when it comes to most competitions. When you see most people training, those are the movements people are training in regards to repetitions, building muscle, etc. Right? So, Vivi Tomás, preguntaste cuáles son los mejores métodos de entrenamiento. Depende en si estamos hablando del gimnasio o los entrenamientos de calistenia. Si es el gimnasio, el squat, tenemos back squat, tenemos el front squat, tenemos el bench press, el shoulder press para los hombros y el pecho, y tenemos el deadlift. Esos son los mejores ejercicios, en mi opinión, para ponerse uno más fuerte, más musculoso. Si estamos hablando de calistenia, tenemos pull-ups, dips, push-ups, squats, muscle-ups. Esos movimientos son los mejores para uno ponerse más fuerte, uno ponerse más musculoso. So, yeah. Give those a try if you haven't done so already. Let me know how you guys do with that. Hope that answers your question. Got a question from my boy, Lettermere Nunez. Hey, Eric, could you give me some advice for the limited range workouts in spaces where you're unable to do pull-ups or burpees and might not have dip bars or bars of any kind? I'm going to be in the Navy, and if I'm not on a submarine, I may not even be able to stand completely upright. Let me know your thoughts. So, Good luck with the Navy, first and foremost. Exercises in a limited range or limited space. You have to use your environment. The good thing about bodyweight training, calisthenics, is it's just that. You're using your environment, what's around you, your body specifically, in order to get fitter, gain muscle, gain strength, etc. So it all depends on your environment. If you're unable to stand, you will always have some type of floor space, right? If you can't fully extend at the top, maybe you can do some push-ups. If you can't do push-ups per se, which would be hard to fathom, but if you don't have that space, squats, maybe not full range of motion, you work with what you have. So if your head is touching the ceiling or whatever the case may be, or if you fully extend and your head's up the top, then you'll do partial reps, lunges as well. If you can't do burpees, you got to work with what you got, right? If you have maybe a bed or some type of stool or chair or a bench or something like that, you can do dips off that. Mountain climbers, things of that nature, right? So it all depends on your environment. If you're able to do push-up, squats, burpees, mountain climbers, lunges, etc. That's the good thing about calisthenics. We have a wide range of exercises, not only pull-ups, dips, and push-ups, right? It's using your body weight as a form of resistance to get fitter. There's different ways we can do that. You can do sit-ups, right? Ab work. You can do isometrics, right? So if you really can't move, you really don't have that much space, but you can lay on the floor, right? You can do hollow body holds. You can do arch holds. You can do hollow body rocks or arch rocks. You can do planks. You can hold the bottom of a squat. That's going to help with your mobility, opening up those hips. It's going to help with ankle mobility. So you have a wide variety of movements and exercises you can do. That being said, you also want to use your environment. Like I said, you can do bench or chair dips. If you can hang off of something, doesn't have to be a pull-up bar, but if you can hang off of anything, maybe you can possibly do pull-ups or inverted rows. So use your environment to your advantage as best you can. Incorporate the movements that I said, if you're able to incorporate some, maybe even all, who knows. But you have to get creative. And if not, you can also work on isometric holds, iso holds. Those will help significantly in gaining strength. Something that Bruce Lee used to use a lot in his training. Right. So, what's best for muscle growth, volume or amount of weights? Good question. So, the stimulus you want to provide your body. So the way you grow muscles, right? The way you grow a bigger muscle. Everybody wants bigger muscles. The way you do that is by tearing down the muscle fiber, allowing it to repair and grow back to become a bigger, stronger muscle, right? How do you tear that down? Through exercise, right? If you want bigger guns, right? Bigger biceps. Most people do bicep curls. So they tear down those muscle fibers in their biceps. Hopefully rest, recover. So you eat, give it a few hours. By a few hours, I mean like 48 to 72 hours or so. Then you get back at it. Back on those bicep curls and whatnot, bicep exercises. And you repeat that cycle. Continue to tear down those muscle fibers so that you can be bigger and stronger. So for growth, I would recommend volume, not the amount of weights. If you're looking to get stronger, if you're looking to gain strength, then you want to work on lifting heavier weight, right? At a lower volume, the way powerlifters train, right? Powerlifter, squat, bench, deadlift, 1 rep maxes. If you're looking to for muscle growth, not that those rep ranges, 1 through 5 rep range, won't increase muscle growth. But if you're looking for muscle growth specifically, you want to essentially think like a bodybuilder. So you want that higher rep range, anything between 8 to 12, even 15, 8 to 15-ish right? Even that's going a little more to the muscular endurance side, but that will also, in my opinion, help with muscle growth, right? So if you're looking to get stronger, think powerlifting 1 rep maxes. That 1 through 5 rep range will help you significantly with that. If you're looking to get bigger muscles, 8 to 12 plus, right? That's your rep range, more or less, give or take. Let's stick at 8 to 12. Right? So volume is the answer to that question over the amount of weights. That was from Madi Gopher. Thank you, Madi, for your question from YouTube. Now we have Nardo, or Nard0, depending on how you read that, also from YouTube. Do you have any specific routines that are just for calisthenics? I have many routines for calisthenics, a ridiculous amount of routines. After doing this for so many years, you see what works for you, you see what doesn't work for you, you see what you like, what you don't like, what's fun, that's important, what's not fun. But at the end of the day, you want to stick to what's effective. So, yes, I have a bunch of routines that are just for calisthenics. If you want me to name a few, a good basic routine, the way I started, essentially, I wouldn't recommend beginners to do this or to try this, but I started with just wanting to do 100 of each. So 100 pull-ups, 100 dips, 100 push-ups, and I would do that every single day. 6, sometimes even 7 days a week, which I do not recommend. I would never have my clients or my members do anything like that. At least not every single day, if you're first starting out especially. But that was my goal, right? I would do sets of 10s, right, around the world in the sport of calisthenics means pull-ups, dips, push-ups, right? So we would do that. 10 sets of 10s, for example. That's 100 reps of each, right? So that's essentially what you want to do, what you want to get. Depending on your capacity, maybe 50s would be a good number for you, maybe 75s, right? But 100s was my minimum. Sometimes I would go over 100, depending on how I felt, how my body felt, how the movements felt, etc. And depending who you was training with. Sometimes training partners will push you and they want to do 200. Then we did 200, right? So yeah, that's a routine. Hi Eric, when is your Q&A? Right now. All right. Julieto 1212. Julietlo. I try and do some of your posted workouts on Instagram. Follow me on the gram, fitnessphenom21, modified. And I am trying to incorporate more calisthenics training. Is it worth or smart to weight train on and off with calisthenics? I would like to be able to move my body more functionally and still have strength. Very good question. Julieto 1212. Yes, it is very good to incorporate both weight training, weightlifting, etc., bodybuilding, whatever you want to call it, the lifting of weights with calisthenics. I pride myself in being a complete athlete, meaning I try not to have any holes in my game. I try to be able to essentially have the ability to do everything, whether that's with weights, whether that's with body weights, calisthenics, etc. Right? If you know my background, obviously, as I explained, I used to be a fighter. Once a fighter, always a fighter, so I still am a fighter. But I used to compete in boxing, mixed martial arts, jiu-jitsu, Muay Thai, etc. And currently competing in calisthenics at the highest level I can possibly compete at. And I also did powerlifting and Olympic weightlifting. I competed in powerlifting, made it to nationals, USA Nationals in 2015, competed in Scranton, Pennsylvania. Competed in Olympic weightlifting, qualified for the American Open Series, was looking to make it to nationals until I had a couple of injuries and just dedicated myself to calisthenics. But yes, you don't want to leave any stone unturned, right? In my opinion, there's different types of strengths, right? You have that calisthenic strength, especially with rep ranges and the higher volume stuff, muscular endurance, muscular stamina. But raw absolute strength, lifting heavy weights, etc., bench presses, squats, deadlifts, power cleans, power snatches, etc. Those will help build raw absolute strength as well as building explosive outputs. So yes, incorporate both into your training, right? Add some weight training, add some bodybuilding, right? Your bicep curls, your lateral raises. If you haven't seen the video I posted a couple of days, I think last week, about the 10 best exercises, dumbbell exercises you should be doing or incorporating into your routine. Add those. Those are some of the things I personally do, right? The curls, the lateral raises, etc. Yeah. So yes, do both. Incorporate both. Weight training and calisthenics. I know a lot of calisthenics athletes pride themselves, oh, I don't lift weights. This is all calisthenics, which is fine. Calisthenics, gymnastics, in my opinion, is the best base to have, right? Being aware of your body, moving your body through space, spatial awareness, moving your body around the bar. That's one of the best foundations to have. And you have flexibility with that and mobility as well. But you want to be a full athlete, a complete athlete. So I would encourage you to do both, weight training and calisthenics. They have carryover to both as well, right? So you'll be a stronger, better athlete for it as well, right? So good question. All right, let's go to another one. This one's from Instagram. Sophiani. Hope I'm saying that right. Sophiani. What's up? I had a quick question. Is doing calisthenics every day good for building muscle, or should I work out every other day? So, it all depends on your capacity, your fitness level, where you're at. Some people have the ability, the capacity to work out 5 days a week. If you have that capacity, then you can go ahead and do that. If you do not, if you're a beginner, if you're just starting out, even if you lift weights and you want to transition to calisthenics or add calisthenics into your regimen, then I would not recommend doing it every single day. You're going to break down your body that way, increase the risk of injury. You want longevity over the sport, right? You want longevity in your fitness careers, right? If you will. So, depends on your capacity, depends on the athlete. By capacity, I mean depends on the mileage of your body. Like, depends on how often you've been doing these body weight exercises, pull-ups, dips, push-ups, squats, muscle-ups, leg raises, all that good stuff, pistol squats. Don't neglect that. Depends on how long you've been doing it, how often you've been doing it. What is your body able to handle, right? It's like running a marathon. If I ask you to run a marathon, and if you never ran before, you're just not going to suddenly run a marathon or even run half a marathon. You got to start off with maybe a mile. Maybe you can start off with 3 miles, depending on what you're able to handle, right? As you build up, those 3 miles turn into 4, 5, 6 miles. Those 6 miles turn into 10, 12 miles, half a mile, and eventually you build up that capacity to run a full marathon, 26.2 miles, right? So, same concept, same thing. All depends on your capacity. Good question. All right, so I had a bunch of questions from Training Day Network. I got you, bro. You asked 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 different questions. You left it on my comments. Most people left it on my YouTube or DMs, which is fine. So Training Day Network, not Training Day New York. Training Day Network on Instagram. Max pull-ups, push-ups, dips. Good question. To be quite honest, I don't particularly max out my pull-ups, push-ups, or dips. Most amount of pull-ups I've ever done in one set, believe I hit 38. I haven't even hit 40 as a max. Can I hit 40? I'm sure I can hit 40. Can I hit 40 plus? I'm probably can, right? A lot of it's mental, right? And especially if you have the ability to hold on to the bar. In competition, that's where it counts. In competition, Chicago 2019, Pull-Up Park Jam Chicago. The pull-up portion, which was the first movement, was max pull-ups. So that's a good answer to your question. However, they were dead stop pull-ups where you do a pull-up, you come back down, and you got to wait till the judge to tap you in order to do your pull-up. Full range of motion, chin over the bar, right? Clearly over the bar and back down. So I did 28 dead stop pull-ups, which is different than just banging them out, which is a very respectable number. I actually surprised myself hitting that 28. I think I have 30 plus in me in regards to dead stop pull-ups. So if I hit 28 dead stop, I'm sure I have over 40 max out pull-ups. However, I don't particularly train to max anything out. I like getting my numbers in, getting my sets and reps in, etc. Push-ups, the most I ever done in one max out session. So I came into the gym I work at one day, and the guys were just having to have a push-up competition. They were just doing push-ups, and they wanted me to jump in. How many push-ups can you do straight? No warm-up, cold. It was the winter time too. It was this past winter that passed. I said, let's go for it. I think I hit 162, if I'm not mistaken. I would have to double check, but somewhere around that ballpark. Again, no warm-up, just straight into it, straight from the cold, which I don't recommend or would have my clients do. But yeah, that's my number for that. And then dips, 81. 81 dips is the most I've ever done. I would like to hit 100 plus straight, which I think is doable, but again, I don't particularly max out. So those are my numbers, if you want to call them my numbers. Favorite exercise and why? Good question. This one is particularly hard. It's hard to choose just one. There's so many that I like. In regards to calisthenics, God, I love them all. There's not any that I dislike or whatnot. But if I had to choose, I'm very good at pushes, meaning dips and push-ups. I would go with dips. Dips is my favorite calisthenics movement. In regards to lifts, front squats, bench press, power clean. Those are my three favorite. I can't give you one, I'm sorry. So bench press, front squats, and power cleans are my favorite in regards to barbell movements, which relates to the next question. Carries over well. Why calisthenics versus weightlifting? I do both. I love both. Obviously, focusing a lot more on calisthenics the past couple years. Training and competing in calisthenics. Obviously during COVID as well. So 4+ months now. Just about only calisthenics. Messed with kettlebells a little bit. But the bulk of my training is calisthenics. I can't choose one over the other. However, like I mentioned before, the best base to have is calisthenics. Body weight movement. You want to master your body weight before you add any additional resistance or other types of resistance. Moving your body through space, spatial awareness. That's very important. That's why gymnasts, in my opinion, this is almost fact, are pound for pound the strongest, most athletic athletes in the world. So that's my answer for that. Would you be willing to battle Fit Life Semi? Shout out to Fit Life Semi. Yes, I would be willing to battle Semi. I will battle anyone. Anyone in the game. OG or not. Legend or not. old school or new school, doesn't matter to me. Anyone can get this smoke. Just holler at me. How long did it take you from the time you started to where you wanted with your body? I'm assuming you meant wanted to be with your body. You know what? I've been training for so long, I don't even remember when I had specific, I'm assuming you mean body image goals, right? I remember being a teenager, and obviously when you first start, you do curls for the girls, as they say. You want to get stronger, you want to get fitter, etc. You want to look better, which is, I think, for the most part, why we all initially do this. But now, especially over the past half decade plus, it's been all about performance, right? Performing better, being fitter and stronger in that sense, right? Being able to bust out more reps, being able to recover and get back on the bar and get more repetitions in, winning these competitions. I compete to win. As simple as that, right? I do it for the glory and to win. I love winning. It's who I am, what I like to do. So, I hope that kind of answers your question. I am never satisfied with, I won't say I'm never satisfied. I'm always looking to improve. I'm always seeking improvements in my performance or my performances. So I won't say I'm not satisfied or ever satisfied with what I do or what I've done in the sport, but I'm always looking to grow, always looking to get better than my last competition or my last training session, etc. I always want to be better than I was previously. So in that sense, I will say that I am proud of myself. I am happy with what I've done, but the job is not done yet. I want to continue to be better and to improve. What motivates you to work out? Well, first and foremost, I do it for myself, obviously. I love working out. But I also love competing as well, right? If the competitions weren't there, which they weren't always there, I do it for the love, and I just need to move. I love moving my body. I love setting goals and achieving those goals. I love getting stronger, getting fitter. Obviously, looking in the mirror and looking better. But like I mentioned before, performance, right? Being able to do more or things I was not able to do before. Unlocking new skills, right? Getting better at handstands. Stuff like that. I enjoy all of that. In regards to motivation to work out, right now, I'm really big into competing in calisthenics. So if you take a look behind me, all those trophies, that's good motivation. That's great motivation as well, right? I'm happy with what I've accomplished, but when I look at these, when I wake up and look at these every morning, it motivates me to do better, to become better. In addition, my nephew, Eli, if you follow me on the gram, everybody knows about Eli. He motivates me significantly. He loves looking at these trophies and putting that belt, this belt right there, one from boxing, 2012. It was a tough fight. Might plug that on my YouTube one of these days. Let me know in the comments below if you want to see some of my boxing fights on YouTube. Holla at me. But yeah, he loves looking at these trophies, just holding them and putting the medals around his neck, putting that belt around his waist. So that's always motivating as well. So I do it for myself. I do it for my family. I do it for Eli. But I love winning. I'm addicted to winning. And I will continue to do it for the glory. Training Day Network, thank you for all of those questions. All right, let's keep this going. We at 44 minutes in. See if we can get this under an hour. I asked this one. No. Francisco Garcia, YouTube. What kind of diet do you do if you do one? I actually answered this in That's Good Money channel today. In regards to my diet, I explained that pretty much in depth. He just released a video today, so if you haven't checked that out, you can go ahead and check that out. That's good money. To keep it simple, I eat for performance, meaning whatever I put in my body for the most part is to help me win, help me become a better athlete. So helping with recovery, muscle growth, etc. You need your fats, you need your carbs, you need your proteins. I take all of that in. Macronutrients, micronutrients, right? All that good stuff. So long story short, I eat for performance. I answered some of these already. Another question on diet. John Glide on Instagram. What do you eat and what do you do? What do you eat and what do you stay away from? So, I stay away from, let's talk about that first. I stay away from just about anything that's processed, right? So, any fake foods, I do not eat. Any processed foods, I do not eat. Fast food, McDonald's, Burger King, Taco Bell. That's all bullshit. That is not real food. So I try to eat real food from the earth as best as I can for performance. So if it leads to me becoming a better athlete, I'll give it a try. I'll give it a go. I'll put it into my body and eat well, if you will. Other than that, what do you eat? So eat for performance. Stay away from bullshit foods. Fake foods, foods that aren't really food, they're disguised as foods, right? Try to stay from anything that's processed, fake, high in sugar, things that will kill you instead of building you. All right, last question. Getting this under hour, awesome. So, Thai Fighter, Instagram. Another question for you. What do you suggest to work on pull-ups, alternatives, progressions? I was going to do the workout you posted today, the Murphish one, but I'm terrible at pull-ups. It would take me all day long. So, good question. I actually posted a video about a month ago, several weeks ago, on my YouTube. So make sure you go down through the list of videos I have. It's titled How to Get Your First Pull-Up. That video will also help you improve your pull-ups. So whether you have 1 pull-up, 2, 3, 5, 10, that video will help you with your pull-ups. So let's talk about progressions and alternatives, scaling options, etc. So for those of you who cannot do a pull-up, right? First and foremost, you got to be able to hang off the bar. If you don't have the ability to hang off the bar, dead hang off the bar, then you have to work on that grip strength. You got to get your grip stronger, being able to hold on to the bar. You got to get your forearm stronger so that you're able to hold on to the bar and comfortably hang off the bar, right? Let's say you have that base level of strength, but you still can't do a pull-up, right? One of the main scaling options or alternatives to pull-ups are inverted rows, right? Or ring rows, depending on what you have access to. Whether that's a scaffold, a low pull-up bar. If you have rings at home or off a tree or whatever you got, you can do ring rows or inverted rows in general. So a row is where you hang. So the bar is not necessarily too high. You're able to hang off the bar, right? And pull yourself up. Almost like a reverse bench press, if you will, where you're working the lats, the large muscle groups in the back as opposed to the front side. Which also strengthens your biceps, also strengthens your grips, your forearm and your grip. So you're working those same muscle groups as a pull-up, right? So you're working on those pull-up muscles, if you will, the lats, biceps, forearms, grip, etc. So if you don't have pull-ups or you need to scale down in pull-ups, do rows. Those are going to be your best friends. Now, the closer you get to the floor, the more difficult the movement is. So if you got to challenge yourselves, get closer to the floor, and pull yourselves up from there. Once you get really good at that and you still can't do pull-ups or don't quite have pull-ups just yet, negatives. I said inverted rows will be your best friends. Negatives will be your best friends, right? A negative, if you don't know what it is, take a look at that video, but you're going to get your chin over the bar. So you're not going to pull yourself up. You're going to get over the bar however you can. Jump up, grab a box, a bench, whatever you got to do. Chin over the bar. And then you're going to control the descent coming down until you're fully extended, locked out. So make sure you control, and then we're here, right? Once you're fully locked out, get back up. However it is you got locked back up initially. Same thing. Bam, come down, work that negative. Negatives will help tremendously, and that's for any calisthenics, body weight, gymnastics movements, right? Negative push-ups, negative dips, negative muscle-ups. You don't have muscle-ups. Get to the top, control the descent. Try to control that transition coming down. Those will help. So add those into your regimen, into your training routine, into your skill work. And for the specific muscle groups, for pull-ups, ring rows, inverted rows, add those to your training. And again, as always, check out my YouTube video, how to get your first pull-up. Great tips on that. And that's about it. All right, so I believe those are most of the questions, not all the questions, but I wanted to keep this under an hour. 1 second, let me just check this one very quickly. Yep, that's everything. So, awesome. Hope you guys enjoyed this Q&A. Thank you for the questions. I appreciate everybody on YouTube. I appreciate all you guys on Instagram. A lot of you guys DM'd me. I had a few comments, but mostly DMs and YouTube. Appreciate you guys. Let me know what you guys think. Should I do more Q&As? Did you guys enjoy this? Holla at me. Let me know what's up. If so, we'll do another session or so. Maybe we could do this every month or something like that. Yeah, hope you guys enjoy this. I actually did. It's pretty cool. Hope you guys got to know me a little better. My style of training, my thought process, training methodologies, food, all that good stuff. So, thanks for watching. If you watched this entire thing, thank you very much. That's dope. As always, like this video, subscribe to my channel. I would highly appreciate it. Share this with someone who you think may benefit from this, or the videos I have posted on my YouTube, how to get your first pull-up, how to get into calisthenics. That's a really good one. So if you know someone who wants to get into calisthenics, share that video with them, show them that video. I think that would help tremendously. How to get a pistol squat, all that good stuff. Yeah, so more videos coming your way. As always, follow me on the gram, FitnessPhenom21. Like and subscribe. Appreciate you guys.